All right, Celtics fans, buckle up because this offseason is shaping up to be one of the most unpredictable and emotional stretches we've seen in a long time, even before the devastating injury to Jason Tatum. Yes, that Achilles tear that could sideline him indefinitely. There were already serious questions looming over Boston. Who's staying? Who's going? And now, with the Celtics operating above the NBA's second tax apron, the reality is that sacrifices will have to be made. No matter how much loyalty or history a player has with the franchise, financial restrictions and future planning don't care about sentiment. Now let's talk about the names that are potentially walking out that door. There's Luke Cornet, Torrey Craig, and of course the big one, Al Horford. Among those three, Horford is without a doubt the most accomplished. We're talking about a 5-time All-Star, a veteran of 17 seasons, and someone who's poured his heart and soul into this Celtics team across 7 impactful years. He's been part of this core. He's been in the trenches during those deep playoff runs. And he's one of the few voices in the locker room that everyone listens to. But the thing is, no matter how legendary your contributions are, Father Time is undefeated. Horford turns 39 this summer, and while he continues to play at a surprisingly high level, let's not kid ourselves. His window is closing, and here's where things start getting complicated. With Tatum out and uncertainty clouding, the team's ability to seriously contend next season, re-signing Horford suddenly doesn't look like the no-brainer it used to be. The Celtics are staring at a potential reset. Maybe not a full rebuild, but definitely a recalibration. It's the kind of situation where keeping an aging veteran only makes sense if you're still chasing a title. But if the team starts leaning toward developing younger talent, allocating minutes differently, and managing a tricky cap situation, then Horford could be on the outside looking in. On ESPN's The Hoop Collective, Tim Bontemps didn't hold back when he was asked about Horford's future. His take was blunt but realistic. He basically said that at this point, it just might not make sense for Al to remain in Boston. Maybe a month ago, that seemed unlikely. Maybe back then it felt like Horford would ride out his final seasons with the Celtics, finishing what he started. But now, things have changed. The team's trajectory has shifted, and suddenly Horford feels a lot more available than he did just a few weeks ago. But here's the twist that no one expected. The New York Knicks. Yes, the Celtics' longtime rivals might be the ones to swoop in and grab Horford if Boston lets him walk. According to Bontemps, there are plenty of reasons why the Knicks could be a real option. First off, Horford has a long-standing friendship with Karl Anthony Towns. The two have played together on the Dominican Republic national team and share a strong bond that goes beyond just basketball. If the Knicks manage to bring Towns into the fold, which has been rumored for some time now, that could be the domino that makes Horford take a serious look at Madison Square Garden. And let's not overlook the basketball fit. The Knicks are building something real. They've got a tough defensive-minded identity, strong coaching, and a fan base that's starving for success. A veteran like Horford, who brings leadership, floor spacing, defensive IQ, and playoff experience, could be the missing piece that solidifies that locker room. He wouldn't be expected to carry the team. He wouldn't need to play 30 minutes a night. But he'd be that voice, that presence, that steady hand in critical moments, the kind of intangible value that doesn't show up in the box score, but can absolutely swing a playoff series. Let's not forget, this wouldn't be the first time the Celtics lost Horford in free agency. Back in 2019, he chose to leave Boston for the Philadelphia 76ers. That was a move that shocked a lot of fans at the time and left a significant hole in the roster. History could repeat itself. But this time, the destination would hit even harder for Celtics Nation. The idea of Horford donning that orange and blue, playing for a franchise that's always been a thorn in Boston's side, would sting badly. And you know what makes this even more dramatic? The recent history of Celtics players jumping ship to join the Knicks. Think back to those Mille Vintium when both Kemba Walker and Evan Fournier left Boston and landed in New York. It didn't work out the way they hoped, but the pattern is there. Players leaving the Celtics to try their luck at the Garden is becoming a trend, and Horford might just be the next chapter in that story. As the Celtics front office looks ahead, they've got some brutally tough decisions to make. This isn't just about keeping or losing a player. It's about direction. It's about identity. Do they double down and try to keep this core together for one more run, hoping Tatum recovers faster than expected and that the chemistry still clicks? Or do they start making the hard calls, letting go of beloved veterans and positioning a team for the next era? Horford's legacy in Boston is already cemented. No one can take that away from him. But the league moves fast. Emotions get sidelined by numbers, strategy, and the brutal business side of professional basketball. If Al ends up in New York, it won't be out of betrayal. It'll be because both sides saw the writing on the wall. The Celtics need flexibility. Horford wants to compete. And if those two goals no longer align, then maybe, just maybe, the end of this chapter is closer than we thought. So if we really zoom out and take a deep look at where the Celtics are right now, it becomes pretty clear that this offseason could mark the end of an era. Not just for Al Horford, but possibly for several key figures who helped shape this team's identity over the past few seasons. The pressure is enormous, and the room for error is almost non-existent. Every move will be scrutinized. Every contract will be measured not just in dollars, but in what it says about the franchise's long-term vision. And in the middle of all this uncertainty, Horford becomes a symbol of the crossroads Boston now faces. Think about it. Here's a guy who came to the Celtics, left for a bit, came back, and instantly reestablished himself as one of the emotional anchors of the locker room. He was never the flashiest player, never the guy putting up 40 points or landing on highlights reels every night, but his presence was undeniable. On the court, he gave the team spacing, rim protection, pick and pop, versatility, and elite communication on defense. Off the court, he brought maturity, professionalism, and experience that is simply invaluable, especially in a team full of young stars still finding their ultimate roles in the league. But the NBA doesn't reward nostalgia. It doesn't hand out extensions for what you did 3 years ago. It's all about what you can do next season, and more importantly, what your salary allows the team to do around you. And that's where this gets so tricky for Boston. They're deep into the luxury tax, and every additional dollar means less flexibility, more restrictions, and even harsher penalties under the new CBA rules. That second tax apron isn't just a buzzword. It's a wall that keeps franchises from maneuvering easily. That's why the Celtics front office is likely going to have to make some painful choices. They might have to let go of players that the fans love just to maintain balance and competitiveness in the long run. And here's the thing. Even if Horford wants to stay, even if he's willing to take a pay cut, that might still not be enough. The team has to evaluate not only what he brings in terms of leadership, but also what they might be missing out on by using a roster spot and cap space on him. Can his minutes be replaced by younger legs with higher upside? Is it time to give more responsibility to developing bigs like Neemias Queta or draft a new face altogether? These are the questions that Brad Stevens and his team are asking behind closed doors right now. Meanwhile, you can bet that other teams are watching this situation closely, and none more than the New York Knicks. Because while Boston is hesitating, the Knicks are plotting. They've got cap space, momentum, and a real desire to make a splash this summer. Adding a veteran big man who knows how to win, who can mesh with a young, hungry core, and who already has chemistry with a potential new star like Karl-Anthony Towns. That's the kind of move that signals a franchise pushing all their chips in. They're not just looking for talent, they're looking for identity, and Horford fits that mold perfectly. There's also something to be said about motivation. Athletes at Horford's level don't just drift into retirement. They want to compete. They want to chase rings. And with Boston potentially entering a transitional phase, it makes sense that he might look elsewhere to finish his career on his own terms. New York, with its massive media market, intense fan base, an upward trajectory, offers something fresh. Something exciting, something that could reignite that final spark in Horford's legendary journey. But before we continue, please remember to subscribe to the channel and give the video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest news about the Boston Celtics. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments as well. The basketball world has been buzzing in recent days, with rumors suggesting that GIANNIS Antetokounmpo, the Milwaukee Bucks superstar and two-time NBA MVP, could be on the verge of joining the Boston Celtics. While neither side has officially confirmed any negotiations, sources close to the situation claim that talks are at an advanced stage, with a blockbuster deal potentially in the works. Speculation ignited after recent comments from Giannis where the Greek freak hinted at his desire to continue competing for championships and to be part of an environment where the culture of winning is non-negotiable. It didn't take long for analysts to connect these remarks to the Celtics. The reigning Eastern Conference champions are one of the most storied franchises in NBA history. Behind the scenes, whispers suggest that Boston's front office is prepared to make one of the boldest moves in its history, potentially offering key players and valuable draft picks to land Antetokounmpo. Despite the growing excitement, many insiders caution that bringing Giannis to Boston would be a complex maneuver, requiring not just a substantial financial commitment, but also significant adjustments to the current roster led by head coach Joe Mazzulla. With established stars like Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown already anchoring the team, questions abound about how Giannis would fit within this core, and how his arrival might reshape the team's hierarchy and on-court dynamics. Among Celtics fans, the rumor has sparked a mix of exhilaration and apprehension. On one hand, the tantalizing prospect of forming an almost unstoppable super team. On the other, concerns about potentially losing beloved players and disrupting a roster that has been meticulously built over several seasons. Experts argue that if the trade were to materialize, the Celtics would instantly become overwhelming favorites for the title, boasting one of the most formidable lineups in recent NBA memory. For now, everything remains firmly in the realm of speculation, but the mere possibility of Giannis Antetokounmpo donning the iconic green and white of the Celtics has already sent shockwaves through the league and ignited the imaginations of basketball fans everywhere. Should this move come to fruition, it would not only alter the balance of power in the NBA, but also reinforce Boston's long-standing reputation as a franchise at the center of the sport's most defining moments. Until then, all eyes remain on what could be the next great chapter in NBA history. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Boston Celtics, please subscribe to our channel and give the video a like. We always appreciate your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.